Good evening again, man. We just want to thank you guys so much for rocking with your boy and on the Conversation 9-8. I really appreciate you more than what you know, and it's such a blessing to be able to be back and rock with you guys and be back for another episode. So I'm excited. Looking forward to the conversation tonight. And again, thank you. That's all I can just get on here and really say is thank you, because you guys are very, very, very much appreciated. And I know I get on here every week and I say that, but I say it because I truly mean it. And make sure you share this, let people know that you're in the building. And looking forward to the conversation tonight. I'm sharing this with a few people right now, and we're going to get right on to it. Jump in and jump out. I hope you guys are having a great and wonderful weekend. I hope you guys have a great and wonderful weekend. I hope things are going well for you. And I just wanted to jump on right now to get into it. So with all that being said, the pleasantries are gone. We got everything out the way. Just want to go ahead on and get started. Make sure, man, you like all of the social media. You see, I got it back here. I'm on YouTube, the Conversation 9-8 on Instagram, the Conversation 9-8 on Twitter at 9-8 Conversation, on Facebook, the Conversation 8, and on TikTok at the Conversation _9-8. But hey, today, don't plan on being before you long, but just really looking forward to the conversation. But tonight's episode is one that we're going to go ahead on and kick off. And we're going to start off tonight's episode with saying you shouldn't have to lose the thing you're blessed with to realize that you're blessed. And I wanted to get on here and talk about that because as I was meditating and thinking about what would be the conversation for tonight, I realized that there's a lot of things that people take for granted, and they don't realize that they are blessed until they lose something. And that's a sad reality that we find a lot of people in, is they find themselves having to lose something just in order for them to even realize that they was blessed with something. And it is a blessing to not know what it's like to go without. That's a blessing in of itself. And too many times we don't take the time to appreciate what is being done, the sacrifices that are being made, or the things that have been done for us to be in that position. And sadly, many of us will have to lose the very thing we are blessed with to realize we were blessed. And that's a sad thing. That right there is a sad thing. Hey, Miss Paige Bank, how you doing? Good evening. Good evening to you. And the Bible says a blessing has no sorrow. And what I mean by that, and what I wanted to expound on that, is saying that, just because, and how do you define what is a blessing, right? And that's why I say you shouldn't have to lose something you're blessed with to realize you're blessed. See, blessings are those things that pour into you, that give to you, that you benefit from. You know what I'm saying? A blessing may not be in an abundance of things, because sometimes we count things as materialistic. We count those as a blessing. But what about somebody considering you? What if somebody's the blessing of having the consistency of somebody always being there for you? What about the blessings of having somebody that's there to support you? What about the blessings of knowing you can depend on that person, right? But a lot of times, so many of us, we get to a point where we take that for granted for so much that we end up losing it for us to true value. And we shouldn't have to do that. We should not. We should not have to lose that. You should not, you should not have to lose something in order to appreciate it. You should not have to do that. But sadly, so many of us, that's a reality for us, because guess what? We get so caught up in living this 4-letter word called life, and we just going and going and going and going, that sometimes we don't slow down enough to realize or get to a space where we can truly appreciate what we have. I'm not telling people or advocating for people to settle for things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't want more. I'm not saying that you should pursue those things. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is there should be a place or a piece that comes with being content and recognizing that, guess what? I do have a good family. I do have a good husband. I do have a good wife. I do have good kids. I do have good parents. I do have the very thing that I may be praying for, I may have prayed for. I already have. I do have a good job. You see what I'm saying? But we get so caught up to the way we end up having to lose it because we don't appreciate it. We just don't appreciate it. Now, don't get this twisted, right? Because this is a dynamic that so many people have. Just because you pray for it and you're blessed with it, you're not going to have to put in effort to maintain it. You're not going to have to put in work to maintain it. That it doesn't mean that just because, boom, you prayed for a new job and God gave you a new job, that everything on that job there won't be any challenges. You know what I'm saying? Or you pray for God for a husband or a wife or money or this, that, and the third, whatever you pray to God for. That doesn't mean that you're going to get it and you're not going to have to work to maintain it. You're going to have to put in that work to maintain it. The key is understanding that even though sometimes may get frustrating, sometimes may be hard, sometimes may be seeming to be overwhelming, that doesn't take away from the simple fact that what you asked for, you were blessed with. And that is a blessing, even though you got to put in some work to maintain it. It ain't just going to be all bells and whistles. You got to put in some work sometime. You have to. And that's just part of life. That's just what it is. Like I said, it is what it is. That is what it is, right? But you shouldn't have to lose something to be blessed with it. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. And if we be honest, there's a lot of people that are lost stuff, are lost people, are lost things in their lives. And they realize after they lost it, the true value of it, because they refuse to take the time to appreciate, acknowledge the true value of it when they had it in their possession. And they do that. They do it. And it's sad. It's sad. And I'm telling you, we see so many people who take stuff to sell stuff that's in garage sale. They sell it for pennies on dollars. And somebody who can see and recognize the value of it, they'll take it and then they'll take it to an auction. And then they'll realize the same thing somebody else sold for $2. They get it appraised and they sell it for $20,000 because they had the eye to understand and appreciate the true value of it. The true value of it. All because guess what? It was junk to somebody else. But it ended up being a treasure to other people because they took the time to see and appreciate the value. They took the time to do it. And Vicky, you're right. It is sad, but it's true. It's sad, but it's true. And this is why, right? This is the thing. This is one of the things that go into it, and I think a lot of people get confused, right? Just because you're frustrated with something that you're blessed with doesn't mean that it's not valuable to you. The things that we're frustrated with people, and we be in relationships or we be with our kids, a lot of things we're frustrated with because it lines up with preferences. And guess what? We get impatient with people because we forget people are people. We make mistakes. They make mistakes. It may not be how we want it, right? But we get caught up and we want people to, we get caught up in our emotions in that moment that we become frustrated. And by us being frustrated, what happens is we allow our emotions of our frustration to erode the very thing or chip away at the very things and the value that we seen in the thing that we know we blessed with. And because we're allowed to come in, now we start to not appreciate it. We start to take those things for granted. We start to not put that effort that we put in towards before. We start to not appreciate it, not to sacrifice for it. And we end up losing it in the end because we allow that emotion to creep in. We allow it, not anybody else. We allow that. And we have to check ourselves. We really, really have to check ourselves. Why? Because, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing because there's so many, I'm telling you, it's a lot of people, man. A lot of people right now are living with regret because they lost a blessing that they didn't even appreciate when they had it. And they're too prideful now to just go back and say, you know what, I was wrong. It was my fault. And them same folks will not even acknowledge that. They'll go on and acting like they the victim. But no, you just didn't appreciate it. No, you just had unrealistic expectations, right? You were self-centered. You were selfish. And everything was about you. You didn't consider them and you didn't realize what they did for you. You didn't realize those small gestures that they did. You didn't realize how they was considerate. You didn't realize things that they did for you. You didn't realize how much they sacrificed for you. You didn't realize that because guess what? You didn't care because you didn't get what you want. But now when they gone, now you're sitting and you're realizing, and now you have to deal with the very thing that they protected you from. And you like, dang, now I know the value. And the reality is that's on you. That's your loss. That's your loss. And you'll be sitting there like Boo Boo the Fool. You'll be sitting there like a sick puppy, wondering why in the world, do you see them move on? And you be like, dang, why in the world you see them all happy? You see them being blessed and they life blossom when they leave you. And you sitting back here, trying to act like it's somebody. No, that was you. And you lost it. That was on you. Ms. Valado said, what happens when we allow others to stop our blessings because they are jealous? But we can't see it until it's too late. Then the blessings are gone, and so is the jealous person. Now we see that we really needed those blessings. Wow, yeah. And I'm glad you said that, right? I'm glad you said that. It is very easy to be able to identify the motives of somebody, especially if they're jealous. Why? Because jealousy comes in the form of they're supportive, but they really don't celebrate you when it's your time. When it's your time to be blessed, when it's your time to enjoy the fruits, or it is your time to have favor, or the things that go in your favor, they always have a negative attitude. Now they cool as long as they the ones being blessed and they want you around, but you'll be able to recognize them very quickly about how they act when those favorable things start happening to you. And I would tell you, sometimes it's not even personal. It's just some people would get to a space where they're just frustrated with themselves, and they don't want to see you blessed because they don't feel that they deserve to be blessed. So they want to be miserable too. So you be able to spot them people, observe them, look at them, and love them from a distance. Love them from a distance. That is something that's how. And then guess what? Don't stop them, man. Listen here, and please listen closely. Listen and listen closely. Don't allow somebody else jealousy to block your blessing. Don't allow somebody else insecurities to be coming to you losing the very things that you blessed with. Don't allow anybody else to influence you to forfeit the benefits of the blessings that God put in your life. All because they probably can't see it. All because guess what? They don't know what you prayed for. They don't know what you sacrificed. They don't know what your needs are. Those people want you to be miserable just like them. Don't allow somebody else jealousy to be a blocking of your blessing, to influence you to walk away from something that God has placed in your life for you to benefit for a lifetime. And don't forfeit your lifetime blessings for seasonal comforts. Don't forfeit your lifetime blessings for seasonal comforts. Don't do that. Don't allow that to happen. Don't do that. Don't do that. That thing is something serious right there. And I realize, because sometimes this is what happens. This is what happens right here. Sometimes we get caught up to where we don't realize the magnitude of the thing that we're blessed with, because we are so focused on where we want to be instead of appreciating where we're at. We're so focused on tomorrow and because of the things that happened to us in our past, that we never really experience or see the fullness of the experience of today. So we focus so much on what we want to be that we can't even appreciate the value, can't appreciate the people in our lives right now. We can't appreciate none of that. We can't appreciate our experiences. We can't appreciate the relationships. We can't appreciate none of that because we're so focused on what we want to be, to the point to where we will devalue and not appreciate the very thing that we're blessed with right in our face right now. And that leads a lot of people connected to us to feel neglected, to feel used, to feel devalued. And we don't even realize or recognize that we're doing it because we're so focused on where we want to go to where we can't even appreciate where we at right now. And this is something that's powerful. And what's powerful about it is, there's something powerful about having the ability to be in the moment, having the ability to be in the moment, to appreciate and gratitude for those people and those things that are blessing in our lives. And I'm talking about really express that gratitude and just realizing that, guess what? These people don't have to do what they do. Even if they do, even if it's their job, even if it falls up under the role or the title that they are fulfilling in your life, they don't have to. And they choose to do it, appreciate them for that. Don't allow the opportunity to go by to not express your gratitude. I'm not talking about you worshiping people, but what I'm talking about is you expressing that gratitude. You're being grateful for the things people are doing. You're being appreciative, right? And I would tell you, by doing that, you will experience the fullness of those blessings instead of you being the cause of running it away. Miss Paige Banks said, I had a person that always did things for my children. I mean, always. Had a person tell me, you know, they're trying to take your kids from you. I was like, really? So I started to pay. Lo and behold, that person was jealous of my children. And to this day, that same family do for my grandchildren that stayed with me. Yeah. 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 All because guess what? They were just frustrated because they weren't getting it. And people will come in your life and they'll try to convince you because guess what? Deep down inside, they want it. Like, honestly, if you sit down and think about it, right? If somebody genuinely coming in and doing something for you, you never know what God has placed on their heart to do for you. If you got somebody outside that's not doing it, it'd be a different thing if they say, hey, look, you got to watch out, but I'm going to do it for you. They're not even in a position to do it. They never thought about doing it. They're just trying to come to you and tell you, oh, no, don't do that, or you shouldn't allow that. No, them folks are miserable. Don't allow them folks to stay in your life. Don't allow them folks to come around you. Because guess what? You sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you gotta say, well, what's the problem? Why is it a problem that they doing this for me? Is it the fact that you're not doing it? Listen, I'm telling you, you gotta be careful, man. Some people are comfortable. Listen, some people are comfortable with you being in the position that you're in because they feel that they're in a better position than you. And as soon as they feel like that position is changing, you'll see them switch up. Them people, hey, look, you may be married, you may be the only one not married, they married, and it's cool that you the only one not married. But as soon as you get you a boo thing to come in, all of a sudden they switch up. All of a sudden they got something negative to say. All of a sudden they just messy, and then y'all fall out. Right when you get married, you've been the one that's been there supportive of them, but right when your turn to get married, now they switch up and they change. Got to ask yourself, well, what are they upset about? Well, they was like I said, it was cool when they did it, but it was a problem when you did it, right? And the reason why it was a problem when you did it because some people just get off on the fact because they feel like that they are better than you or they're in a better position. And as soon as you're on the same level, they want to act different. They want to act different. Telling you that's the fact. That right there is a fact. Denise said, say that, and Ms. Valeda said that's so true. It's true, and I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. I've this is one thing that I did. You know, I've lived and learned to recognize that everybody that is connected with you is not happy for you. And especially those, there's some people that are kin to you. There's some people that's been with you for a long time that are only happy with you or comfortable with you at your current level. And as soon as you elevate, as soon as God take you to another level, you will start to see them people switch up on you quicker than you know. And it's not so much about a bad thing. And I don't want you to look at that as a bad thing because I had to realize that sometimes God elevates you to take you to a new level to separate you from some people that only supposed to be in your life for a season. And you got to look at that and realize that sometimes elevation, you have to let some things go. And everybody won't be able to elevate with you. And that's all right. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just know everybody's not meant to go where you're supposed to go. And don't cry over spilled milk. Do not milk. Priscilla said, true. What's up, Flo? Flo said, we got to start showing people a mirror. That's the only way to show them how ugly they and their actions truly are. And that is something very true. You know, one thing, and Flo, I'm glad you're on, man. I'm going to give you your flowers while you're on. One thing I learned from Flo, me and Flo, we go way back to Fort Riley 2003. Got to the unit January 2003, and Flo was one of the first people I met. He was in the back of the company, sitting back by the supply room. And I walked in, and Flo, those are no Flo. Flo, big dude. Flo, big dude. Flo about 6'5", New York guy. And one thing that I learned from him and I appreciate from him is his candor. His candor. He was very candid, not disrespectful, but hey, whatever flow, what was that on flow mind, he was gonna let you know. And one thing I do appreciate about that is, you know, as you get older, it's not so much about you trying to hurt people's feelings or you being nasty, but you know, just like Flo said, sometimes you got to show people that mirror. You got to and let them realize, hey, this you. This ain't me. This right here is you. And you need to deal with you. You need to deal with you. And ain't nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Priscilla said, everybody can't go with you on the journey that's taking you or taking us. Yes, that is true. That right there is true. And the same thing with this, and I want to get back to it. Amen, amen, Anthony, amen. I want to get back to this, and I want people to really understand what we're talking about and the dynamic of what I'm talking about tonight, right? Because there, and we see this, there are many people that lost a real blessing. They've lost relationships. They've lost good people. They've lost their jobs. They lost things that were a real blessing in their lives, all because of the fact that they didn't appreciate it. And they end up having to lose the very thing they was blessed with before they even realized that, guess what? Dang, this was a blessing. And that's sad. But it is not uncommon. And you shouldn't have to do that, because guess what? How do you know you blessed? You know you blessed by the thing you're benefiting from. You know you benefiting from it. I didn't say nothing about you not being frustrated with it, but you benefiting from it. And that right there is a big difference. And one of the dynamics is, you know, some people don't realize, and they consider themselves being frustrated with something that clouds their judgment to realize or acknowledge that it's a blessing, right? You're frustrated with it. Yeah, you may be frustrated with your kids. Yeah, you may be frustrated on your job. Yeah, you may be frustrated with your spouse. Yeah, you may be frustrated, but frustration doesn't mean that it's not a blessing. Right? Because what happens is we allow our frustration to lead us down an emotional rabbit hole to where it clouds our judgment. And now we're not being able to see the true value of it. Yeah, you're frustrated with your husband. You're frustrated with your wife. You're frustrated with your kids. You're frustrated on the job. So you just get it to the point the way you walk away from it. And guess what? That was some of the best thing that ever happened to you. But then now when you get out there on your own, you're trying to find what you had, but you realize what you had was good. But you just allowed yourself to get frustrated and throw it away. But guess what? That's on you. Flo said that doesn't mean to do them what they did to you, but they need to be told how the things that they do are effective in yours. Facts. And Flo said, hey, look. Flo said, hey, thanks for the flowers, Shep. You've been a light to follow since we met. Whether I get it right or wrong, I know I can look to and listen to you. Wow. Knowing that I can stay or get in touch, get back on the right path. Man, I appreciate you for that, bro. That means a lot. That means a lot. And you almost got me choked up on that, man. I appreciate you on that one, man. But for real, I just don't want us to, too many of us, man, too many of us forfeit our blessings all because we allow our emotions to manipulate us. We allow our emotions to the point to where we just throw in the towel, or we allow ourselves to forfeit our blessings, sell it for pennies on the dollar, all because we can't emotionally regulate ourselves. And the sad thing with that is, what we don't realize is somebody's going to benefit from that blessing that you had in your whole time to cultivate, but you let it walk away because you allow your emotions and your feelings to blind you truly appreciating the thing that God had already blessed you with. And guess what? At the end of the day, you can't blame nobody but yourself. 100% you. You let it walk away. You did. Ms. Valady said, I agree with Eddie. Even at times, some don't realize that they are being ugly to another person because they feel as they can just say anything and feel as it's okay. But tell them that they hurt you and they are wrong. That is true. And listen, I'm not advocating for people to be nasty and angry and all of that stuff. No, that you do, you need to do it in love. And I think that we gotten away from that. And I'm an advocate for doing things in love because nobody just like, I'm a grown man. You can just come talk to me any type of way. You know, it's a way, it's about how you do it. It's about your methodology and the ways that you do it. And you can say, hey, look, hey, I need to talk to you. Hey, I didn't appreciate how you talk about me on this. I didn't appreciate how you did this, that, and the third. And I just ask that you respect me so that we can move forward. And that's a conversation that you can have. And think about that. I didn't come to you like, who you talking to, blah, blah, blah. No, I ain't do that. I can just say, hey, look, I don't appreciate how you did that. Hey, this is how this made me feel. This is how this made me feel in that moment. So I just ask, man, that we continue to do what we need to do, continue to have love on people, and continue to seek healing, right? Listen, I'm telling you, right? Don't be that to sit down and look up one day and be living a life full of regret. You allow blessing to walk out of your life because you didn't appreciate it when you had it in your hands. Don't be that person, man. Don't be that person to sit around and living with regret and you living with it silently while you got to watch that very thing that you have fully in your possession be a full blessing to somebody else. All because you was too prideful. You was too prideful to be grateful. You was too prideful to acknowledge it. Like, no, don't be that person. And you have the power to stop that person from being you. You have that power. You have that power. You have that power to stop it. You can blame somebody else, but that's you. And I would tell you, man, I say that over and over and over again. Why? Because there are a lot of people that are miserable right now. You let that man walk out of your life that was real good to you, all because you either wasn't healed or you let somebody else get in your ear, or you were selfish. You let that woman walk out of your life that was a good woman. I'm talking about was exactly what you need. But you were just so self-centered and didn't even realize, or too stupid to acknowledge that they was good, right? You realize that your kids was a blessing and you don't realize that you was overbearing to them. And by just and even though you wanted what's best, for you to let them be grown and realize that it was your job to just raise them up, train them up in the way that they should go, not make them go a certain way. You ran them away. You know, these are the things in which we have to look at, that we can stop and realize that, guess what? That these things are a blessing. These things are a blessing. I would tell you, when you acknowledge and can take inventories of the things that are a blessing in your life, what you will find is you will find a sense of fulfillment. And you know, the thing that is so good with all of this, and when the Bible said he come, that when God said he come that you may have life and life more abundantly, what I'm realizing is that abundant life is really the small joys or the fullness of the joys of life, in which we are walking in the fullness of it and to be able to appreciate it. What I mean by that is, my mom is having been able to take care of my mom is a joy that I get. It's a fullness that I get care of my mom. Being able to tell my mom and just spend time with her, I value that time. I value those moments. I don't take those moments for granted. I am deliberate about maximizing those moments. I am deliberate about maximizing those moments and being cognitive of those moments with my kids, and when do I need to just sit down and listen and not say nothing and just be there. A lot of times we don't take those time. We don't take we don't put the right energy towards those people in our lives. And we are to experience the abundant lives in those relationships, because guess what? We are not deliberate about those things. And we become so centered. Everything really becomes about us. It becomes about what we want and not about those people that are, and it's so imperative that we begin to focus on it. I mean, really focus on it and putting forth the time, energy, and effort into those people that matters in our life, not the social media stuff, not all of this extra stuff. I'm talking about those people. And when you are genuine and deliberate about your efforts, I will tell you, you will see that it is something that is fulfilling, and that's what I mean by that's what I believe that the word mean by abundant life. Ms. Valeda said, Robert, you are a blessing to me. Out of all the years I've known you, the past 4 years you have poured into my life through your teaching, and I'm so grateful and thankful to God for you. I often repeat some things that you said. Keep allowing God to use you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. And in a transparent moment, I would tell you, thank you guys so much for the encouragement, because encouragement's been coming a lot lately. And I would tell you, I've dedicated this, been doing this for over 2 years now, with 130 episodes, literally getting ready to go almost 3 years. And sometimes, when God gives you something to do, sometimes it's a lonely journey. And it's a journey where you can, and it's testing of your faith when you are staying consistent and going, and you don't feel like that it's the return is there. You don't feel like that everything is going the way according to your plan, but you just have to continue to keep going and stand with it and stand consistent. And God will send things to remind you that, guess what? You're on the right track. So when I say that I appreciate your words, I don't say that lightly. I genuinely do, because it encourages me more than what you may even know. So I thank you all so much for rocking with me. We on episode 130. We've been 130 episodes strong. My prayer is that this is helpful in any way. And I hope that it can help somebody get to a space to where, guess what? We don't have to live with regret. We need to appreciate the blessings that we have, and appreciate the people that we have in our lives. My mom said, and I appreciate you taking care. No, Mama, I'm just returning the favor. I'm just returning the favor, because Mama D, you've been there for a lot of people. Appreciate you for giving me an example of what it means to serve and be selfless. And having those examples have really just helped me, because guess what? I've had examples to walk by. So I thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate you more than what you know. Hey, go like my my YouTube channels. Get my subscribe. Make sure you subscribe at The Conversation 98. Take this to another level. You guys have a blessed and wonderful day. God bless.